Hey everybody, Daryl Davey here with Oaken Hollow Games, and we are down in the game room. It has been a while. If my recollection is correct, it's been probably at least a month. October 31st, I think, is the last time we did anything live was with the stream. For those of you tuned in, thank you so much. For those of you who showed up, thanks again as well. So yeah, I just wanted to come on and say kind of where we've been, where we're at, and what things will be looking like coming up. And just chit chat. It's been a minute, for sure. So first, welcome back. Thank you. Hi. As I've mentioned in some of my previous videos, or for those of you who have been watching some extra posts or know me personally, I'm an assistant director every year for the Cloquet High School musical, and that goes from September until the end of November, roughly. And hello, everyone who's joining. And that's a pretty big chunk of my time out. I'll kind of come back to how I used to do it with that involved, but both Phil and myself were very busy during those times. We were making giant puppets and using our creative skills in other ways, which is awesome and a ton of fun. But I can say, especially during that last couple of weeks, last month, we were pretty set with the play besides getting some last minute stuff done. But I was really itching to get back down to the game room and start working on some stuff again. It's been far too long, and I've absolutely missed it. So, and hopefully the quality's going fine. I know my internet's been kind of crap lately, so we'll see. But, yeah, I've been itching to get back in. And then, as it seems, you're ready to go home, you're at work all day, and you have this great idea, and you're going to plow into it. Once the play got done, I've kind of hit a wall, if I'm being a little bit honest, where I had all this creative juice and all this effort and want to go, and started working on a couple of really loose ideas for new games. But every time I've come to sit down or really think or work on something, I've just felt that emotional mental block. And a lot of that does come from the flow of getting off of the very busy schedule that I am for those 3 months, back down to where, I have my nights and weekends, and I can do more creative stuff and get people over. But it's a very big gear shift for me. Every year it happens. And that then kind of hits into the creative process of game making and how much I want to focus. I've been so hyper-focused the last 3 months on something else. It's hard to then want to do that. Plus, it was right at the end of Thanksgiving, and then we've had family things and catching up with that, and Christmas is coming up, and appointments and everything else. So it's been hectic and crazy. And work's been busy enough to where sometimes that helps me. I zone out, if you will, sometimes, or I'm like, oh, I'm at work, this task is kind of boring, how can I make it more fun? The Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar is how I get through a lot of my tasks of the day. It's like, oh, if I could gamify this, or I wonder if I could make a game mechanic out of how this works. Dice Monsters, I've mentioned eons ago in another post, was one of the first games I had designed, and it was out of necessity. Had a job that I had, and the only app on my phone was 2 dice that rolled. One was orange and one was green, and I'd roll it, and I'd pretend if one was higher, that monster would win, and made these little cards that could fit in my pocket or whatever while I was at lunch, and it was something to preoccupy my mind during those times. But with the play, my creative outlet has gone out elsewhere. And I meant to say this during November. November was Literacy Month, and I wanted to speak on how Oaken Hollow Games will go to classes. I run Index Card RPG and Easy D6 and Hero Kids for a conglomeration of them all at this point for the kids at school and some community stuff, and the importance of how games help students learn. And Literacy Month is reading. There's tons of text and all sorts of games and comprehension and stuff. So I wanted to speak on that, but November just went and it was gone. So I hadn't checked in here, and then again, once we were done, I've sat down, I've tried, and it's just, it wasn't clicking. I need that muse, if you will. A lot of artists say that, and I, to me, believe it's something where I can kind of force myself to push through a wall at times and be creative and do it. And a lot of times it's when I can make my more, like, logic-based decisions and go, okay, nope, this is what I need to do. But I'm a very emotion-driven person. That's what inspires me. I get inspired and I want to do it, and I just, like, vomit out a new game, and it's all fun and it's the excitement. And trying to force that passion in is hard when it's not there, because I've been busy and I've been pouring my artistic outlet into that. And then on the heels of that, my brother-in-law has brought up that he wants to start playing X-Wings miniatures again. So for our X-Wings fans out there, hello, I am learning 2.5. It's going to be nuts. But I'm like relearning an entire game system. I have a class we're doing through ESCO where I'm teaching the Pokemon card game, and I taught my director's son, Henry, hello if you're watching, how to play Pokemon last Friday. So I've been getting into that teaching mode and kind of the game modes, but I got some games in, we played a little bit, but my mind spins on wanting to start working on the games, and then when I sit down and actually try to do it, it's even starting this tonight was kind of difficult. It's been a while, and I feel like I've left you guys out of the loop for a bit, and I apologize for that. You're busy, and a lot of folks don't tune into this all the time anyway, so it's not the end of the world, but it's something that I felt was letting down. That said, this too shall pass, as all of my moods do, and I am excited to start pumping back into new games. This being one of my first steps, is getting back into that regular process that we have and we do. Last year I was blessed with being able to do an every other week playtest with my playtester group. I found some other folks to come in for that when that comes. I just need to find out how my weeks are going to do that. So once that solidifies, that's new people at the table looking at games, and we can get back into that rhythm, and that helps me go, I should have something new, or I should have really looked at this by the next week. I have 2 weeks until I want to have something test-worthy again for the folks who spend their time with me and take time out of their days to come and help me out. So that always helps motivate me. And, I mean, winter gets boring and cold. That's why a ton of creatives come from Minnesota, is we're bored as hell. It's freezing outside. I can't do anything. Flip side, that's been a super nice winter so far, so I've been outside a lot too, and haven't had to be stuck in my basement working on things. So yeah, it's a whole spin of things, but all that said, it's coming, and what we are focused on now, there's been some roadblocks. There's another thing that's hard to bash through. So first and foremost, Phil and I, the next game we want to get out is Plunder. It's Plunder, bet it on booty. Maybe that's the tagline. We need an additional name to Plunder, or think of a different name for it. So comment down below if you can think of a cool name for a pirate betting game. For those of you who don't know, there is a free-to-play and print download on our websites on Oaken Hollow Games under the files. So you can print and play that, and then you can look through here for the rules. Rules are on there as well. I learn better by watching. We have a few videos on Plunder. So, that being said, we're at the point where we want to start making the cards look nicer and get it to the next level of play testing. And finding artists that are capable of doing the art that we want, or agreeing on a direction of how to do the art for it, has been difficult. Timber, I'm calling you out now. We've talked about you, and I think it's been brought up, so you're first on my list for artists that we'd love to hire out. And the thing is, too, is we don't have a huge budget. I'll get a little bit into these things here in a minute, but I want to be able to pay an artist for what they are worth. And I want quality work done. With skill and quality comes cost. And I have to find that balance of not screwing a talented artist over and not giving them their due, and still being able to have money in the bank to produce the games that we have art for. The biggest problem with the art for Plunder is it's 80% clothing I'm not good at drawing clothing. Not to the level that I'd want to stand on a game itself. We've talked about using AI to give us a base information and then touch it up from there. I know Ward has done that with some success in their artwork. It looks really cool. And it gives them that baseline. And I don't know if they went over it completely or if it was just a thing, and then they have a very talented artist who goes in and afterwards and redoes it completely. I believe that's the way. Haven't talked to him on it, don't know. But that would be a way of doing it. But the keywords, it's not specific enough for the clothing we've really liked. And we're calling out very specific types of clothing where I'm like, oh, if I just do like a piratey blouse or a top coat or something, not that it needs to be historically 100% accurate, but we want it to look okay, so at least someone who knows even more than a passing glance of pirate knowledge isn't going to be like, well, that's not called that, that's called this, and this game's dumb, and they toss it. So, art is stopping us on Plunder. We can make a copy of Plunder that looks nice with the card art missing, which doesn't have any art right now, and it's functioning. It would just look a bit nicer. That's fine, good. It backpedals us a little bit on... We'd make the full card, get it printed, cost a little bit of money, but it'd be worth it for the tests, in my opinion. Show a nicer product. And then we'd have to re-go over and add in images as we make them for our actual Ward batch. Or not Ward batch, Plunder batch. So, not the end of the world if we do it that way. A little bit of change, but it looks nicer. So I think that's the step we'll take next until we do track down an artist. Then that's for me, that's the thing on the frying pan. The next one is Capture the Flag, which Phil has dubbed one of our playground games. We may be doing like a subdivision of stuff based on kids' playground games, whether it be dodgeball or scooter tag or lava monster, and the goal would be to make them all be able to be very small and portable, and it may lead to something bigger eventually, but I've spoken a little bit on our Capture the Flag game, where it is capable of being played anywhere. It's like marbles, where kids on the playground or on a table or at a bus stop, on the bus, don't tell the bus driver, on your desk, when your homework's done. I want it to be able to be played anywhere, and so far it's been testing well, and it's been nice. I've redone some of the figures in not my trick-or-treater style, my candy people style, so they visually are a little more different, so I'm going to print some of those out here. I'll show them in another video if we end up going that route. And it all wants to fit into a little tin can that can then be portable. Throw in a backpack, throw in a pocket, take it camping, and then materials would be enough to where they wouldn't be bad if you had them out. And it's a very simple game. Currently, it uses a card for measuring. They try to capture bases. There's videos. Look it up. I have a couple pictures, and I'll be talking in it more in depth. That's also the next thing that we want to get out game-wise. So if art is stalling us a little bit on that, we'll focus a bit more on Capture the Flag and start producing that. The production part is I remember I was going to say something about money earlier. Now we're in a weird balance of being a very small indie game company. And that is, we don't have a ton of money. We have what we started with, the little bit of profits that we get, which oftentimes go to fixing printers or maybe paying for a booth somewhere. It cuts in, and it does just about the entire thing to make one run of All Hallows Eve, a little over half for Skirmish, and currently Skirmish is sold out, and All Hallows Eve has 2 copies left. So, do we let those sit? I kind of want to get another batch of Skirmish out. It sold well enough. I think there's more people. We just haven't had conventions to really push it, and with everything going on, it wasn't the same kind of launch I had for All Hallows Eve, and it was my second game out. I think I didn't pump it enough, as you will, as it went out. But do I do batches of any of these. If I do smaller batches, which are more time efficient, it's less money efficient because I have to pay more for the same products where I can buy stuff in bulk otherwise. So that's one of the questions is, do we reprint things or do we start up with some of our other games, which will be faster and cheaper to produce, and start rolling with some new product, and then when there's interest again, reprint some of these. We also have Graveyard Smash, which at any point could be coming out. So those three, Graveyard Smash is effectively done at this point. A few buttons and bells here or there. Phil still wants to test out a few things, but better safe than sorry. Plunder and Capture the Flag. Those three things. And so, like, if I say, all right, to save some money to put into other projects, we're not going to do a run of All Hallows Eve this year, or I'll wait until October or the summer to start my October run. Okay, well, if that's the case, and we put out a product that attaches that can only be played with All Hallows Eve, then somebody wants to buy All Hallows Eve in the Graveyard Smash expansion, and I go, oh, sorry, you're out. That doesn't look great, so I should have a few copies. But those few copies then take money out of the bank to do other projects. It might even stop me from making expansions. It's a big Ouroboros. It's this constant cycle of, ooh, which way do we bend? Which way do we pivot to see what's going to be the best? And I'm new at running a business. I love designing games. I love all the creative aspects. I am learning on the fly all the other parts of being an indie game company, and a gamery, if you will, and it's tough sometimes. Or you have to really stop and think of like, ooh, wait, no, I can't just launch into this thing. I need to think a few steps ahead onto what the repercussions. Again, if I print an expansion for this, people, yes, it sells to everybody who has the game already. That's easy market. I enjoy the game. I want an expansion. There's new monsters. Cool, breathe some life into a game I've had for a while. That all works fine. But for those few niche cases that want one and then I don't have enough copies to back it up, that's troublesome. And there's that. Skirmish, I think, could sell just fine again. If I were to do another print, I'd feel comfortable taking some time while working on these to do another run of Skirmish. And then I'd be able to hit more conventions and stuff than we were able to this year. We missed out on two major ones we normally do because they weren't available or the time wasn't available. But it's been doing fine. But still, super with all of that. Super excited to be working on new projects. And I think that's the hard balance for me, is the exciting of new and upholding the old. And making sure that they're not overlapping, or I'm not just running from one thing to the next, and then I got a bunch of stuff that's middling or people don't really care for, or they really, really want this and I haven't printed it. And I'm putting out other stuff that people aren't quite ready to buy yet or want yet. So, yeah. So it's a lot of circus and juggling on those parts, which again, way back to the beginning of this video here, is when I sit down and I come down here after a long day and wanting to work on something and hit a mental wall and go, beans, what am I going to do? There's a lot of that background stuff that goes into it. And then I think, we're another rule book. I got to do more decals and designs, make sure they're the right size. And holy smokes, it's a lot of little things to get a tin for this new game out. I think it's ready to go, but there's weeks worth of work left. And I'm not talking, over the course of time. I'm talking literal 8-hour day weeks that I have to fit into a normal life. So, all that said, we will be moving forward. There is no doubt about that. The motivation is coming back. I'm even glad I was able to talk with all of you tonight, and just catch everybody up on what we're doing, and know that we're moving forward with some stuff. And there'll be a few things here and there that, work themselves out as we start pumping. But I may do some drawing tonight for either Capture the Flag or Gotcha Ninja. I know Gotcha Ninja is one I really, really want to work on, but we have projects that are closer to being finished, and Gotcha Ninja needs a ton of testing. But we'll be starting up our probably bi-weekly game nights again for playtesting. Fingers crossed, once I know my Starfinder schedule and some other work stuff, I'll be able to start doing that, so I'll let you all know. If playtesting is something you want to do, please contact me in a PM, and we'll get you into our playtester group. It just kind of narrows it down. Not everybody has to deal with it. But yeah, so that's that. Plunder, we need artists. Send me artists. Let me know their price range, what they want to work for, whatever you got, and I will see if that's something that we're able to swing. We need a good artist. We need someone who's good at clothing and material items. Capture the Flag. I'm going to do some more playtesting, see if it needs a little bit more spice on it, and then there's just the packaging and making the little rule book. That's all on me. And seeing when we're going to start launching Graveyard Smash, which will more than likely be an October thing, as well as playing little things here and there, and just updates on normal nerd life. Again, I'm getting back into X-Wing. That'll be fun. I'm going to play some Pokemon. So I'll keep you updated on the fun stuff, too. Either way, thank you so much. I know this was a much longer video, but I see I've got some folks in here, so I really appreciate those who bopped in and those who stuck around for all my rambling. I'm not sure if you're able to comment on these right now. There was some bad security stuff that was, bots posting onto the main page, some very inappropriate stuff, so I had to turn off a lot of the public commenting, which I hate, because I want you guys to be able to interact. So if you were not able to comment on here, let me know in a DM, and I'll see if I can turn that off if maybe whatever that thing is gone. But either way, yeah, thank you so much. We will be chatting soon, and I will see you all then. Bye.